Hello world, welcome to Gavite Games. After getting rid of everyone, finally, I get to talk about what I want to talk about, and that is the little blue hedgehog, Sonic. That's right, I'm revisiting the Sonic Retrospective.
Gavites Games.
For those who've been following me for a while, you may remember that mess of mine in Series 0, where I did the whole Sonic Retrospective thing. And it was mostly working from memory and the 3 games I had for the Mega Drive, which basically comprised my entire collection. Oh, how times change. I was also talking from the history of the character going from 8-bit to modern day. And that's not how I experienced the Sonic franchise, so it's against what the show turned into. Me giving my opinion of the game rather than dry, factual read-off about the history of the games, which you can easily find on Wikipedia. This video about how I experienced the little blue guy, from his first introduction to me to the present day. This means I'll be missing out a few games if I didn't play them when I was a kid. So if some of your favourite games were Sonic Triple Trouble, or Sonic Adventure 2, or Sonic Colors, they won't be in this video, so go away now. This is how I experienced him, not you. Anyway, time to start my Sonic adventure! Back when my age was in single digits. So we come to the first game in the Sonic franchise that I properly remember. Sonic Chaos for the Master System. Surprisingly, this wasn't even my favourite game on the Master System console. I was more interested in shooting aliens on Alien Storm or something. But I do remember it. I remember being stuck on the 2nd level with the weird caterpillar boss. But I do recall it being one of the many games on my dad's Master System, which I just happened to play. This isn't even the only Sonic game we had on the Master System. We had Sonics 1 and 2. I remember Sonic 1 being far too difficult for my young mind to comprehend, and Sonic 2 had a glitch in our cartridge so you couldn't get past the 2nd level. I remember Sonic Chaos the most. I have no idea why, but that's what my little memory remembers. After looking at the Master System game, let's move on to Sonic CD. For those who've followed for a long time, you'll recall in Series 0 I actually did a PC build of a Windows 95 machine, and then played Sonic CD on that, and then gave a brief review at the end. I've also done another review of Sonic CD as a first impressions thing from the Gems collection I bought. So there are 2 reviews of Sonic CD from me out there. Here's the 3rd one just for the hat trick. Sonic CD I remember being quite good fun at the time, but I remember being stuck in the water level. Next up on my memory bank, unfortunately, is Sonic R. Now, when I played this through originally, I remember being really good. I remember me and my sister sitting down and going through all the levels and trying to get all the metal versions of all the different characters and trying to collect all the gems and stuff like that. One thing I will say though is, though I remember being good, it was kind of one of those, it's one of the few games I owned, so that's why it was good rather than actually being a good game and therefore it being good. Now we get into something more substantial, because the last few games I barely recall because I was very, very little. This game I actually recall pretty well, Sonic Adventure DX. I remember playing as the open air quotes cool characters, my sister playing as the open air quotes girly characters. And then I also played one of the boring characters. I mean, the only boring character. Biggs the Cat. The most useless character in the whole of the Sonic franchise. I remember this game being really, really good because it played through a storyline which was in the comics I was reading at the time as well. Because in the comics, they were trying to fight Chaos. And the main bad guy of Sonic Adventure DX was the Chaos Beast. Now, in the comics, they managed to defeat the first form of Chaos pretty fine, and then the second form managed to kill this rabbit dude. I believe his name was Johnny. The thing is, it burned such a scar in my memory, even though it was a little cartoon side character rabbit in the Sonic franchise. I still remember the comic panel perfectly. I mean, I looked it up recently just now, and it's pretty much exactly how I remember it. Regardless of that, Adventure DX, I remember being very, very good. I don't remember having any problems with the controls. I remember the storyline being kind of fun. I've not gone back and played it since because I don't think any computer I own would run it because it's too old nowadays. After completing Sonic Adventure, I wanted to go for the next game. Me and my sister were still young enough that we kept playing together, so we wanted another Sonic game to play. So I came across Sonic Heroes, and I thought it was the sequel to Sonic Adventure, not knowing about Adventure 2. Even when I was younger, I realised how terrible this game was. Playing it again now, I realise my younger self has very, very, very good knowledge when it comes to things like this. Then after this, there was a Sonicless gap in my life for a couple of years. This was due to me getting into other types of games, like the first-person shooters like Counter-Strike, my beloved Red Alert 2 and other RTSs. So Sonic kind of took a backseat while I investigated other games. Fast forward, if you will, to my second year of university. I'm in a tiny, tiny room with a TV with no signal. Now I have two options here. Either my TV turns into an exact replica of a TV that doesn't work, or I find a cheap games console to play games on. Now at the time I did have a PS2 hooked up, but it was kind of dying. PS2 games weren't playing on it very well, and I don't think it even worked for PlayStation 1 games at the time. So I had to go out and find myself another console. Now you're probably asking yourself, why didn't I go for a second-hand Xbox? I'm a student, I have nowhere near that amount of money. It suggested me to look at the second-hand shop at the bottom of the hill, and I wandered in and saw all the Master System games, like ones I remembered from playing back in the day with my dad, and I was like, fine, awesome, how much are Master Systems? £25, with 3 games. Sold! They didn't have any in stock. So I ended up buying a Mega Drive because the guy behind the counter said it's pretty much like the Master System, just slightly better. And thus, the collection began! Starting with, of course, the legendary Sonic No. 1. Sonic 1 was worth every penny of those £3 I spent on it, as the game was one of the hardest side-scrollers I've ever decided to beat, ever! Every night after lectures I'd sit down and try to get as far as I could in the game, and then die and give up. I just remember the first time I beat this game. It was the end of the 2 months of solidly playing, and it culminated in one night of finally beating it, and all the glory that would bring! On to the sequel. After spending the better part of 2 months trying to complete the first game, I was very much looking forward to Sonic 2, thinking that my £3 again would be stretched over 2 months of solidly playing a very, very good, if difficult game. First time playing it, got through to the last level. Not what I was expecting, I'll be honest with you. In fact, I was so confident that Sonic 2 would be as difficult as its predecessor, I started the game to about half an hour before meeting my friends to go to Wetherspoon for breakfast, thinking by the third level I'd be very, very dead in the same way I was with Sonic 1. An hour later, with breakfast missed, I found out Sonic 2 was in every way much easier than its predecessor, getting to the last level in the first playthrough. This originally left me a bit disappointed, because I expected a super hard sequel to the game that took me 2 months to beat, and this is not that game. However, it's still one of my favourite games for the console, just for the sole fact that it's a good game with very good variety of levels, huge different variation to get through all the levels. It's a very nice game to sit down with a couple of friends and plough through in a couple of hours. Its increased difficulty allows a lot more replayability with people who haven't played the game since they were in single digits. On to Sonic and Knuckles. Now you guys are probably thinking, what about Sonic 3? There's a story behind that. The second-hand shop where I buy these things from, well, I used to buy all my games from there, but nowadays I don't. But back in the day I used to just go to this one place and get games. They had about a quadrillion of these, and none of Sonic 3. By the gods above, did Sonic and Knuckles ramp back up the difficulty. On my first playthrough, I died in the second level. This caused me to think this game was full of cheap difficulty, which is not an unfair criticism, as at that point they have things which are not self-evident, and have not been done in the game before or since then. Nowadays I've learned to call it adventure game logic. The example I always go to is the second level in the second zone. We have to wait for the bombs to open a hole in the level to get to the next part. Now in better Sonic games, this may have been a setup where you could learn this mechanic in a fairly safe location to use further on in the level in a more dangerous situation. But nope. So eventually the game did descend in memorise where all of the adventure game logic happened and know how to get round it. So when I did complete this game after playing it a month on and off, it was more of a case of I have memorised where this adventure game logic is because I died here before now I know exactly how to go around it or how to do this. Basically what I'm saying, it was a hollow victory. Sonic 3. This was given to me as a Christmas present, and I want you to realise at this point, for 3 months I've been waiting to play this game. So it was instantly my favourite Christmas present. The first thing this game did, which amazed me, is that it had save states. This blew my freaking mind! I had no idea Mega Drives even had save states. I thought that was one of the reasons people on the side of Nintendo back in the day. This led the game to seem a lot easier than Sonic & Knuckles, as it let me restart from the level I died on, rather than making me work through all the levels to get to where I died. Meaning that in 1 or 2 sittings I'd beaten the game, leading me to think this game was really easy compared to the other games in the series. Until I tried to complete the game without using any of the continue. As in, playing it like it was without save states, making me realise this game is as hard as any of its predecessors. This game has a huge variety of levels, and a huge different ways to get through the levels, which makes it a huge thing for replayability. Meaning you can go through the levels again and again till you find your favourite one. The redesign of Sonic and Tails from the previous two games make them look better than the previous titles, making Sonic look more badass, and Tails look cuter. The addition of Tails as well as a standalone character put a lot more variety throughout the game. Both Sonic and Tails' abilities are updated from the previous titles. Sonic, along with his ability to run faster and jump slightly higher, has also been given the ability of a secondary attack that gives him a split-second invincibility shield against enemies. Whilst Tails has finally been given the ability to fly without dying first. I haven't even got to the best bit though. You know what you can do with this? You can combine the two and you can play through Sonic 3 as Knuckles as well! Also, the expansion allows Sonic to go through and play all the Sonic and Knuckles levels as well! It's amazing! If you can't tell, this is my favourite game in the Sonic franchise, and possibly my favourite Mega Drive game. Recently I have gone back and played some of the Sonic games from my childhood. I've gone back and played Sonic Chaos. This game is far too easy, but I can see why little Gavite liked it. I have gone back and played Sonic CD on both an ancient Windows 95 PC and the PS2 Gems collection I have. Both are good, and I've completed both. Whilst there's a kick-ass cartoon at the beginning and even at the end of the game plays a lot like an even easier Sonic 2 without Tails and with easier bosses. I've gone back and since found out that Sonic CD was meant to be Sonic 2 because it was released about the same time but on the Mega CD. Seeing as the Mega CD was a huge flop, I think Sega got kinda glad they ended up naming this Sonic 2 instead of that one. After replaying Sonic R, I have no idea how me and my sister got any good at this horribly broken game. I did go back and try and replay Sonic Heroes, but the game suffers from being a very poor port as the buttons A, B, X and Y are literally A, B, X and Y on the keyboard. Just look down at your keyboard for a second and realise how much of that is a bad idea. I think it's another case of control set up for a hypothetical race of spider people Yahtzee mentioned before now. There are other aspects to the Sonic franchise I could talk about, like, for example, the games I played on the PC which were ports from the Mega Drive. Or I could also talk about other Mega Drive games I've also played, like Sonic Spinball or that Sonic 3D I talked about just now. I could even talk about the Sonic comics I used to collect, or the Where's Wally ripoff they did called Where's Sonic Now. However, that make the video go on for pretty much forever, so I'm gonna call it here. Now we move on to today with Sonic Generations. With Sonic being brought back to being a mostly playable game with very few gimmicks. So, how long before Sega ruins him again? I'm Gavite, see the entire world later.
Gavites Games.